Good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in to Journey to Wholeness Radio on IntellectualRadio.com. My name is KJ Davis, and I am the founder and owner of the Journey to Wholeness Center and this afternoon's host. So I would like to thank you all for tuning in and joining us for another amazing radio show. But before I get started, I would just like to take a moment to thank my sponsor, Conscious Community Magazine. So Conscious Community Magazine is a magazine that unifies and awakens the masses to their full potential through uplifting, timely, and inspiring communications. It is a free publication. It's distributed in Illinois, Wisconsin, and Indiana, and it's been in distribution since 1979. So if you want to be a part of the Conscious Community Magazine, you can contact them at area code 847-966-1110, or you can visit them on their website at consciouscommunitymagazine.com. I would also like to add that if you are interested in picking up your own free publication of the Conscious Community Magazine, you can come to the Journey to Wholeness Center. We are located at 9501 New England Avenue in Oakland, Illinois, and you can pick up your free copy of the Conscious Community Magazine. So let's begin. So today's topic, let's talk about emotional wellness. So I thought this would be a very interesting topic for us to really focus on the one aspect of healing that a lot of people tend to shy away from, and that's emotional. So when you think about emotional wellness and emotional healing, you have so many individuals who feel as if emotions are something that is taboo. So that's the reason why I say so many people shy away from talking about their feelings or their emotions, because they feel like it's something that they can't manage or can't control, or they always feel like emotions and feelings are caused by other people or other circumstances or situations outside of themselves that tend to trigger them to act in a particular way. So I thought that with everything that is going on in the media and all the negativity in our political arena and our environments and our day-to-day lives, with all of the negative triggers and the negative emotions, that it would be a good opportunity to just break down emotional wellness and talk about just how important it is to really stay in a place of balance when it comes to our emotions. So, as I said before, emotions is a very difficult topic to talk about. However, it is the one thing that drives all of us to either act, react, or make a decision. 99% of the time, and 99% of the decisions that we make are really founded and based on emotion. How is it that we feel? So, how can we begin to really, and today this is what we're going to talk about, is how can we begin to really feel and process emotions in a manner that is really healthy to our overall state of being. So another reason a lot of people don't like to go deeply into emotions is because they don't want to feel a particular way. But emotions are natural. Feeling emotions are natural. It is natural to be angry or sad or happy or elated or anxious. You know, all of those things are natural. But when there is not enough balance involved in our emotional state of being, it definitely does cause a lot of issues in our overall health and overall wellness. So today I'm going to talk to you all about emotional wellness, and I'm going to give you some tools and techniques that you can implement into your everyday life to stay in a place of emotional wellness, or really just emotional balance. So the first thing I want to talk to you about is understanding the power and truth about emotions. So let's just get real. The thing about being able to manage things is to really have an honest discussion about what it is and how it affects us on a regular basis. So let's understand that the power behind emotions. So that's why a lot of people fear emotions too. But emotions are pretty powerful. So emotions are truly the most reliable indicators of how things are going in our lives. Truly are. I always say that emotions are those little red flags, those little nudgings, those little things that catalyst of change that makes us either act, react, or make a decision. So these are just little indicators, and they're very, very natural. A lot of people hide from their emotions or don't want to feel emotions, and that's not normal and it's not natural. So emotions, if you think about emotions, they really bridge they bridge the gap between thought, feelings, and actions. And they directly impact our physical bodies and our overall wellness. Okay. So, for example, if you find people, and you do find so many people who are completely disconnected from their emotions. So, due to life's traumas and dramas, experiences, bad relationships, bad childhood, etc., they've learned to kind of keep their emotions bottled in. So they don't act or react based upon emotions. They're just kind of cold, and they're closed off. So I know a lot of people know people like that, where they don't really get emotional about anything. They don't show emotions. Now they may feel them in the inside, and they tend to keep them in the inside, but they don't know how to express how they feel. They don't write how they feel. They can't communicate how they feel. And a lot of times they have shut themselves off from even feeling. So when you ask them, how do you feel? It's always, well, I don't know. So and that is a very difficult conversation to have with people, especially if you're in a relationship, if you're in a personal relationship, or even with your children, in a relationship with your children, and something is going on with them emotionally, and you ask them what's going on or how do they feel, and they can't not put in words or describe how they feel. They feel some kind of way, but they don't know how they feel. And a lot of times the reason that we're asking loved ones how they feel is because with emotions, the one thing you have to keep in mind is that they really need to be felt. You're feeling it, but you also have to deal with it, process it, and release it. So the latter part is the part that is so very difficult for most people to do. And that is to deal with it, process it, accept it, release it, let it go. So we feel these emotions and we keep them bottled in. So we don't talk about them and we don't release them, which is okay. Some people don't like to express how they feel, and that's okay. But what are you doing to release those feelings or those emotions? Are you keeping them all bottled in? And then so many of us are guilty of this. We keep them all bottled in for months and months at a time, and then all of a sudden we get triggered and everything comes up. I mean, 6 months ago when you did this to me, that really hurt. Or a few months ago when you did that, and the other person is sitting there like, what are you talking about? And why wouldn't you express this when it was going on? And so now it becomes so much larger and so much more explosive because you spent so much time keeping all of those feelings and all of those emotions bottled in. And there are some people that can hold stuff in for years and years and years, and they just layer it on and they layer it on, and they refuse to let it go, and it becomes a part of who they are. It becomes a protector or a cloth that protects them from the outside world, because they have all of these dense, dark energies and emotions all on the inside. And it serves as a buffer. So nobody can really get close to them at all, because they're carrying all of this baggage, this emotional baggage. So, as I said before, because emotions directly affect and impact our overall health and well being, I mean, directly impact it, we have to be good stewards of managing our emotions, of feeling our emotions, of processing them, of letting them go. So, you will find that most people, those people who I tell you who just put all their emotions inside, and every day they have this phony smile, everything is right in the world, everything is perfect, and in the inside they have this fire, this inferno brewing, because they are not able to release emotions or to feel emotions. These people who ignore, dismiss, or repress their emotions are really setting themselves up to experience some really tough or serious illnesses in the body, because that's where it shows up. Because you're keeping all of this rage and darkness and density and uncertainty and fear and anxiety. You're keeping all of these things bottled in the body, and the body doesn't want or need it. So the body begins to shut down. So you start having major health issues, stress related issues, anxiety related issues, the arthritis, the cancer, the diabetes. All of these things are rooted in what's going on with you emotionally and your inability to release those toxins. It actually does become toxins in the body. Your emotions can become that. So, negative emotions, when you think about negative emotions such as fear, anxiety, negativity, frustration, depression, these all, as I just said, toxins in the body, they really do cause chemical reactions in your body that are very different from the chemicals released when you feel positive emotions, such as happiness, content, love, accepted. When you feel those things, it's two different chemical reactions going on in the body. And that's why the body reacts adversely to those toxins that you keep in the body. So that is one of the reasons why it's very important to release those emotions. Not that you shouldn't have them. That's a whole nother story. So not that you shouldn't have them. Everybody, it is so natural. And I'm going to say that several times throughout this show, that it is very, very natural to have emotions, to be emotional, to feel. That is very natural. And if you are going through life without feeling, and you're completely shut off and shut down, you will definitely begin to experience health issues in the body. Unfortunately, that is a fact. So leverage those emotions, allow yourself to feel, and then allow yourself to release those emotions. So, how can you do that? You have to keep your emotions balanced at all times, and that is your highs and your lows. So, sometimes we can get caught up in emotional highs, and those emotional highs causes us to be addicted to various things like drinking and drugs, and where we feel good, and we want to stay in that space at all times. It keeps us on this emotional high. Or let's say you're a workaholic and you just love money, and you always want to have money coming in, and everything you do is for money, because it keeps you on this emotional egoic high, because you can buy anything you want, and this is what you live for. So that's not good either, because you feel good, but you want it all the time. It becomes your drug. And then some people stay on these emotional lows. So have you ever met people who every single time you ask them, how are they doing? It's always a new issue. Oh, my back hurt. Oh, my son is in trouble again. Oh, my daughter is going through this. Where every single time you talk to them, and every single time they open their mouths, it's something sad, it's something depressed, it's woe is me, why is this happening? So those people are feeding on emotional lows, and what's happening is it's kind of serving them, because now they get other people to sympathize with them or empathize with them or give them attention, so that's their way of courting into people, of feeling something, so they stay in this place of sadness and depression. So that's what I'm talking about when I say your emotional highs and your emotional lows. You got to find balance in there. And when something good and something happens that's really good, definitely go out, celebrate, have a good time, but come back to the middle. You can't live on that emotional high forever. It doesn't work that way. If something bad is happening, you've lost a loved one, you've lost your job, then allow yourself to feel that sadness, or that longing, that miss. Allow yourself to feel, however long it takes, just allow yourself to feel that, to process it, but then let it go. Then be able to let that emotion go. Okay. So, along with keeping things in balance, begin to start thinking about how not most things, all things really are neutral. What makes them unneutral, or what gives them a charge, neutral, what gives it a charge is our thoughts and feelings about that situation, about that person, about that. So it's our thoughts and our feelings that gives it either the bad charge, negative charge, or the positive charge. So think about that. If you really can keep things into perspective and think about all things being neutral, and it's the way you think about it or the way you feel about it that gives it that charge, then you can understand just how powerful your emotions are, and how powerful it is to be able to stay in a place of balance when it comes to your emotions. Now, this next one, in terms of staying in a place of balance when it comes to emotions, this is one of my biggest things that I tell other people. And the reason I tell people this all the time is because I had to learn it, and I still tell myself this all the time as well. It is not about you. We get so either emotionally charged or emotionally disconnected when it comes to other people and other events and other situations. Our significant others, our children, our friends, when they do things, we always feel like it is about us, that it is personal, that they're intentionally doing something to us. So we're in this victimization state. And that's really not the case. It really isn't about you. So when you have someone around you acting out of their own stuff, what they're doing is they're acting out of their own emotions. They're acting out their own fears. They're acting out their own securities. They're acting out their own life's purpose and life's plan that is not about you. So you have so many times I hear this in relationships, and well, this person didn't call me back, or this person didn't say goodnight, or this person didn't do this, and this person didn't do that. And now you're an emotional mess because you're trying to figure out, well, does this person still care? They used to do this, and now they don't do this anymore. And now you're taking it all personally. Now your energy is all messed up. Now you're all emotional. We do that a lot with our children. At least I do. I have to stop myself and say, you know what, Kim, this is not about you. Kevin, my youngest son, I'm like, you know what? Maybe he just had a bad day. It's not really about you. But we internalize and we take everything so very, very personally. So that's one thing that we can do to begin to manage our emotions and balance our emotions, is to realize that it is not about you, that people are having their own experiences. Allow them to have their experiences no matter what it looks like to you. You may feel that, I used to have this best friend and now she's so backstabbing and I can't believe she did this to me. I can't believe this guy cheated on me. Everything is about you. But that is not the case. You have to accept people where they're at. That guy who cheated on you was really cheating himself out of an opportunity to have a good relationship. He was really acting out of his own fears and own securities. And if it wasn't you, it would be somebody else. It's not personal. And what we do is we personalize everything, and it heightens our emotions. It'll do either one or two things. Either it'll heighten our emotion and put us in a place of fear and put us in a place of insecurity, or it'll have us check out completely emotionally, begin to put up all of these blocks, all of these barriers. I'm never going to have that experience again. I am never going to get in a relationship again. So then we begin to shut it down. So we're going from the highs to the lows, the extremes. So the one thing to do to stay in balance is to just check yourself. Everything and every situation is not about you. And I'm not saying it in a negative light. I'm saying it in a very truthful light, that people act out of their own fears, their own securities, their own highs and their own lows. They act out in their own mission and purpose. You may be with someone who is on a mission or is driven to do something, and it's not about you. It's not personal. When they wake up in the morning, they're not thinking, oh, well, I'm just not going to engage with him. I'm not going to engage with her. I'm not just going to call her. I'm not going to, what they're doing is living out their lives and their missions. And it's not personal about you. Oh, they couldn't call, they couldn't text, they couldn't do this. And we get into these crazy stories and these, oh, well, he must be out with somebody else or she must be out with somebody. We tell ourselves all of these stories, and we get all emotional and riled up over nothing when it is not about you. So keep that in mind. So the next point, the number one cause of emotional pain. So when we cannot understand and accept what is going on with us emotionally, the number one cause of emotional pain is belief that things, which are, it could be events, situations, people, places, etc., should be different than they actually are. So we are always putting our agendas, our own personal agendas, on everyone else and believing that it should be different. We say all the time, well, if we're in a relationship, this is how it should go. Well, if this person loved me, this is how they should behave. Well, if this job really wanted me to stay, they would do this. So the number one cause of emotional pain is just beliefs through our emotions and judgments that it could be anything different than what it is. That's acceptance. So we don't do a very good job of just accepting things as they are. What we want to do is change it. And the only person that you have control over is you. And you are the only person that can manage your emotions. Don't look to others to manage your emotions for you. Okay, so you have to be in that place of power to balance out your own emotions. But in order to do that, you have to stop inflicting emotional pain on yourself by thinking and hoping things are different than what they really are. So it really does require us to take a long, hard look at some of the people in our lives, some of the situations in our lives, and say, are they, am I guilty of wanting more for them or seeing more in them that they see for themselves? Am I coming up with this fantasy or this fallacy about this person, this standard that they just can't live up to? And because they can't live up to it, am I causing my own emotional pain and distress by wanting them to be someone or something that they're not? So a lot of us are very, very guilty of that. When we don't believe, when they show you who you are, that whole saying, we don't believe it. We don't believe it. We believe that, well, they'll love me enough to change, or if I stay on this job long enough, they'll begin to really see how hard I work and appreciate, so we always try to manage and control the situations versus just staying in our own power and not getting emotionally attached. Once again, those emotional highs and those emotional lows, and then trying to control how other people treat us. So the only thing that we truly have the power over in terms of emotions is ourselves. And what it is, how do we perceive what's going on? Giving up the idea that something or someone outside of ourselves is causing us pain, stress, anger, anxiety, and depression. If you're feeling these things, and once again, emotions are triggers, they are good. You have to feel them, please. As I said, I was going to say this throughout the show. You have to feel emotions. Emotions are a gift. So use those emotions for discernment. Use those emotions to determine what it is that you should do, how you should act, how you should react. And if you're feeling like someone, if you are all riled up by what someone else is saying or doing, that's an indicator for you to not be around that person. But you can't use that as an indicator to push off on that other person and say, and tell that other person, this is what you need to be doing for me because you're making me mad or you're making me sad or that person isn't making you feel any particular way. You're feeling that way. So you need to process why and how you're feeling this way, release it, and then make better judgments or not judgments, make better decisions. So keep that in mind because we do that a lot. And what we're doing is inflicting our own emotional pain when we continuously try to believe that things should be different than what they really are. So we really have to be in a place of acceptance if we want to be in that state of balancing our emotions. And that goes back to not judging. Allow everyone to live their lives as best they see fit, no matter what it looks like to you. Okay? So if you have someone who constantly triggers you emotionally, once again, they're not doing that to you. You're being triggered because of your thoughts, your feelings, your insecurities, your emotions, your happiness, your sadness. So take ownership of that. And then make better choices or better decisions. Maybe this is someone that you shouldn't be around. Maybe this is someone that really isn't a friend. So just really pay attention to those emotions. As I said before, for those individuals who have checked out emotionally and they don't process emotions, they don't feel emotions, those individuals have a very difficult time with discernment and really understanding who means them some good, who they should have in their circle. So that's why it's not good also to shut down emotions. It's not good to keep them all bottled inside because then you shut yourself out from feeling anything and you tend to attract and draw to you more empty people or people who are empty emotionally. So you have to keep that in mind as well. So now let's talk about managing these emotional triggers because we all get them. So once again, you are the only person responsible for managing your emotions. You choose. So that's the power of it. You choose how you feel. So you cannot control others, but you can control how you react to them. So you get to choose. You get to choose. And even if you are upset or even if you are sad, allow yourself to feel that. Another thing that we do is we judge our emotions. So we really need to stop that. However you feel, if somebody pisses you off or you feel somebody pissed you off, feel pissed off, but then let it go. See, the problem is with emotions, we want to hold on to them. We want to hold on to that energy. We don't care if our stomach is turning, if our heart is palpitating. We don't care. We just want to hold on to whatever that emotion is. And it's not good. As I said, it directly impacts your physical body. So you got to release it. So feel it and understand what that trigger is trying to tell you, because all emotional triggers are trying to tell you something. So understand it, feel it, process it, but let it go. You can't hold on to it. Or you can, most people do, but as I said before, that's how you end up with health issues. Okay? So, in talking about energy, in talking about emotions, I always like to talk about energy because that's what we are. We're all energetic beings. So, in understanding emotions, you have to understand that you are an energetic being. Your emotions are triggers. But one of the things that you need to do to balance out your emotions or protect your emotional health and wellness is to protect your energy, is to not even allow energy vampires in your space for you to get emotional about, for them, for you to feel that the darkness or the sadness. So protecting your energy is not the same as protecting your emotions. So you have so many people who say, I just protect my emotions from not feeling. I just protect my emotions by not getting in relationships. And that's not the same. I am not saying that at all. Emotions, no matter what they are good. So don't judge them. Anger is good. Anxiety is good. All of these things are triggers to help you make better decisions. So these are all good. So I know I've said it 5 times. I'll say it 5 more before the end of the show. Because so many people feel like emotions are bad. They judge emotions, especially, oh, I feel sad today. I don't know why I'm so sad. Don't judge it. Just feel it and let it go. And we do that all the time. But protect your energy, which is very different than protecting emotion. Protect your energy. So if you are protecting your energetic field by first realizing that you are energy and then realizing that other people's energies can have a direct impact on your energy, then you'll get into the habit of really protecting your space energetically. If you are going for a lot of people, and I hear this a lot from people who come into the Journey to Wholeness Center, they talk about how negative and how energetically depleting their jobs are. So if you know that you are getting ready to go into an environment that is negative and energetically depleting, protect your energy, protect your space, shield yourself energetically, whatever that means for you, surrounding yourself in a white light or setting an intention that you will not be energetically charged from negativity, whatever that means for you. If you're a Christian and you want to call on Christ, just protect me energetically before I get into this job. Make it a ritual, a daily ritual where you're always protecting your energy. So if you're protecting your energy, then negative, denser, darker energies can't get to you in order for you to feel emotional about it one way or the other. That will allow you to stay emotionally in a place of balance. Because as I said before, emotions, they are meant to be felt. They are meant to be our triggers. But if you don't even want to get to the point where you're emotionally triggered, begin to start protecting your energy. So with that said, we are going to have a class this Sunday teaching people how to protect their energy and how to shield. So keep that in mind. I'll bring that back up again. So in closing, I just want to make sure that people become stewards of their own emotional health and wellness. It's very important because, as I said before, it definitely directly impacts your overall health, healing, and wellness. So if you want more information about energy, about shielding, about emotional wellness, you can definitely log into our website at journeytowholeness.org. I also want to share with you some of our upcoming workshops. So tonight, Friday night, we're going to have a drum circle at 6 p.m., which is a good way to get some really good energy flowing, and that's with Shannon Harris. He is an amazing person and practitioner when it comes to sound and music. So you'll definitely enjoy the drum circle. And then on Saturday, April 1st at 2 o'clock, we're going to have a workshop called Kick Carbs to the Curb, really focusing on healthy eating and healthy living. And that workshop will be facilitated by Safia Omosonaya, who is also a practitioner at the Journey to Wholeness Center. And then at 3 o'clock, we're going to have one of my personal favorite workshops, Transformation Through Dreams, who will, the Miss Kimberly M. Harmon will facilitate that workshop. It is an amazing workshop. You just don't understand how powerful dreams are. And within this workshop, it gives you the opportunity to really understand and learn how to interpret your own dreams and how to use your dreams for overall healing and wellness. So that'll be Saturday, April 1st at 2 p.m. And then on Sunday, as I mentioned before, we're going to have a workshop at 1 p.m. Julia Knickerbocker will facilitate this workshop, protecting yourself from negative energy and attacks. So as I said before, shielding your energy also is very, very key in being able to balance your emotions. So keep that in mind. So as always, thank you for tuning in to Journey to Wholeness Radio on IntellectualRadio.com. You all have an amazing weekend, and we'll be back at you next week. Thank you.